Hare Krishna, someone can please reply. Are you all able to see my screen?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes, yes. Thank you so much.
Yes.
Thank you so much. We were at which chapter? Let me see on the. I see.
Chapter 9, Prabhuji.
Which, tomorrow 11. Okay. Simply transforming.
Yes,
Simply,
Prabhu, that paragraph.
simply transform because the people are not simple. So let me see. Oh, then my Saraswati Srivir, Edaman Madha Puman, Nevarate Adi, Abhidhatum, Vai Tvam Akinchana Gocharam. Very amazing. My dear Lord, your Lordship can easily be approached, but only by those who are materially exhausted. One who is on the path of material progress, trying to improve himself with respectable parentage, great opulence, high education, and bodily beauty, cannot approach you with sincere feelings. Material opulences are here shown as hindrances uh, to what do you call hindrance to spiritual progress. So we might think that how is that if material progress is or material opulences are against spiritual progress, then is it that devotees are always required to be impoverished, or should we not endeavor for any opulences, acquiring any opulences or not? So all these discussions we might have seen in the previous sessions also, but today we will read from the paragraph. Simply transforming one thing into something else does not make the final product one's own property. For example, if I give a carpenter some wood and some tools and a salary and he makes a very beautiful closet, to whom will the closet belong? To the carpenter or to me, the person who has supplied the ingredients? The carpenter cannot say, because I have transformed this wood into such a nice closet, it is mine. Similarly, we should say to atheistic men like the communists, who is supplying the ingredients for your bread, your rascal, it is all coming from Krishna. In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says the elements of this material creation are all my property. Which verse is this? Can someone tell me? We will go through this one. So, here I think in the previous this Prabhupada is majorly communists and capitalists. Okay, these are the major two discussions or debates which goes on in the world. So here we need to understand communist basically means socialist भी होता है, socialist या फिर साम्यवादी. साम्यवादी ये होते हैं सामंतवादी. Okay, so here their concepts communism, it's very it feels very good to only hear about their philosophy that everything needs to be equally distributed among everyone. Everyone has equal rights on all the assets of the nature and all that, all that. So that is how they try to spread communism. But none of those principles are actually practically viable and can be applied in the modern or any context. Why? Because based on the acumen and enterprising spirit of a person, um, a reward for that person will be different. So that why? Because communism allows laziness. They say just because I exist, I need to be supplied. Without my endeavor, just because I'm poor, I need to be supplied. And the one who has acquired riches based on his acumen and endeavor, he needs to distribute and sustain all those who are not doing anything. So capitalism and communism, these are vast topics, but in Ishopanishad, Prabhupada very nicely explains these concepts. In both ways, in that verse, Ishavasya Midam Sarvam, here, there, Prabhupada gives analogy of if there is a 100 rupee note which is fallen on the road. So the first person, what he will do, he will take the note and he will put it in his own packet, and he will start enjoying that 100 rupees note, whatever $100 bill, and he will spend it on his own sense gratification. That is first concept. Second concept is, um, second concept is someone will pick up and he will say, I will distribute this 100 rupees into, if there are 10 people, I will distribute 10 rupees to each. I will not keep it to myself, but I will distribute among whomsoever is present nearby. I will distribute among them. That is, and so first person is capitalized. I take the resources of this world. I don't know whom they belong to. I use it. I use my brain, and I will spend it on my own personal sense gratification. And then second kind of personality is they distribute. But in both ways, Prabhupada says there is no acknowledgement of who is the real owner of that note or that amount. So the third person, what he will do, he will get the, if he finds a note unclaimed on the road, he will find out the owner, whomsoever that property belongs to. He will engage and give that thing to that person, and he will use that in his service. And if that person allows, then that asset can be either distributed or used for our own personal use. So same way, like Ravan was like capitalist. He wanted the property of material world, of the material energy, Sita Mata. He wanted to enjoy it and grab it and enjoy it for himself. But that is not how it works. Hanumanji is what? Hanumanji tries to unite Rama and Sita, and Ravan tries to separate Rama and Sita. But devotees are required to be, why we are not neither capitalist or neither spiritualist. We are spiritual capitalist. Spiritual capitalist means we will take all the opulences of this world. We don't deny them. And during Prabhupada's initial days, there was this I don't know. There was one Swami who was kind of he had published his image in New York Times, wherein he was an Indian Swami. That was the craze. Now also there are many Indian Swamis. They go to US because now yoga, adhyatma, spirituality has become a buzzword. Since then it was a buzzword, dharma and all that. So many pseudo gurus also used to visit. So there was this one Swami who he had posed in a newspaper like this. I don't know. There was a huge pile of cash in front of him, and he was saying, "No, no, 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 I don't want all this cash." So he's like saying no to whole amount which was given to him. So that was the photo which was published, and so his disciple, the Prabhupada disciples brought that photo to Prabhupada. Said, "Prabhupada, see this Swami, he is so renounced. There is huge pile of cash lying in front of him, but he's saying, I don't want all this. I just want spiritually. I just want peace of mind. I will just meditate, and I will wear beggar-like clothes, and I don't need any material assets." Prabhupada said, "Bring that pile of cash in front of me, and I will give a picture of embracing that pile of cash." Devotees were wonderstruck. They said, "Prabhupada, why are you saying like this?" Prabhupada said, "We are not in the denial mode. We are not neti, neti, neti. Ye nahi chahiye, wo nahi chahiye." No, we accept everything in Krishna's service. We are not Falgu Vairagya. That Vairagya is Falgu Vairagya. That Vairagya is what Prabhupada is saying. But we are following Rup Goswami. Yukta Vairagya Uchchate. Yukta Vairagya means we take that 100 rupee note and use it in the service of the person to whom that note actually belongs to. The material world belongs to Krishna, and we take all the assets of this material world, either it is a natural resources, steel, metal, gold, whatever, and we use it in Krishna's service. And in that process, our life will also get comfortable also, because like for example, Pandavas, they were striving for opulence. Is it not? Yes, they were happy. Yudhishthira Maharaj were happy in forest. He had no much sense of I want asset, I want to become a king. No, he did not want all that. But because he did not want Krishna, or those who does not see in material world, it is more you strive for getting that thing, more you don't get it. In childhood, we had a story. I don't know how many of you remember. There was a dog. He thought the tail of his, which was always on above his head. So he thought that tail belongs to someone else, and he wanted to take the tip of his own tail into his mouth. So throughout the day, he was trying to get his own tail into his mouth. He ran here and there. He was so frustrated. He tried and tried and tried. The tail did not come only in. I don't know how many of you have seen small puppies doing that stuff. They try to play with their own tail. So that did not come into his mouth. He wanted to bite his own tail so much, he became frustrated, and finally he got so tired and he slept. And while in sleep, automatically his own tail came towards his mouth and he was able to touch it or whatever he wanted to do, lick it. So that was a story which we had in very childhood. And later on, I understood the meaning of it. In material world, more you aspire and more you endeavor for something which is apparently very impossible to attain, you become frustrated and you actually don't get it. Like for example, you see, when you aspire of material reputation, more you want it, Krishna does not give it to you, and then you stop endeavoring for it, then sometimes automatically it comes to you. So more material opulences we strive for, rather our focus should be to serve Krishna, and then automatically things will follow. Like Prabhupada said, Krishna tested him twice. You know how Krishna tested him twice? Twice in the sense, actually I'm not writing, so I will keep this like this. So Krishna tested Prabhupada twice in the sense, firstly when he took sannyas in 1965, he took sannyas. 1965 he took sannyas. Yes, 19 no 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 1896 birth. Then 1922 he met Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Maharaj, and 1933 he got initiated. See, 11 years it took. In 1944 he started Back to Godhead magazine, and 1955 he took one prastha. In 1966 he inaugurated ISKCON. Yes, yes. And then 1977 he left this world. Why I was saying this? In 1965, when he took sannyas, Prabhupada said, Krishna tested me twice. When he took sannyas and he was wandering around the streets of Delhi and Kolkata and Vrindavan, he used to go back and forth, he used to write. He had no typewriter. He had practically nothing of his own. And there was no big institution or some big kind of Gaudiya Math was not that vibrantly doing any preaching after Bhakti Thakur Maharaj. He was on his own trying to write books in English, trying to print. And almost there is an interview, Prabhupada Memories, wherein that printing press owner used to say, I used to daily ask Swamiji that have you taken breakfast? And I surely knew it that he had no money to eat his breakfast. So I would just, as a gesture, I would ask, but I knew it for sure that he has not taken it. So I would daily anyways provide him breakfast. So that was his schedule. Very tired, and he used to first half of the day he used to print the Back to Cotton magazines, and then he used to go out in the streets and sell them for 10 rupees, 1 rupee, whatever that amount he used to sell that during that time, 1965 or so. So he tried so hard, and sometimes for one day, one or two magazines would go. And he, while walking one time, it was such a he had to go through heat stroke, and he fell down on the street. He had no one to actually take him to hospital. Somehow, by Krishna's grace, a few young, men came, few people came, and he was admitted, and somehow he was alive. He recovered. So that was his precarious situation. He had nothing apparently. He was completely akinchana gocharam. See, in Kunti Maharani prayer, this word comes twice. Tvam akinchana gocharam. This, and in this verse, twice Tulsi Kunti Maharani says, Krishna, you are the property of someone who has nothing except for you. So akinchana. So Prabhupada was literally akinchana during that time. He had nothing of anything of his material assets. Nothing he had. In 1922, he had his own four-wheeler. During British time in India, poverty was so much that too in Bengal, people had no money to buy even small slippers. चप्पल नहीं खरीदते थे वो टाइम पे प्रोपत के पास फोर व्हीलर थी 1920s. Prabhupada had his own four-wheeler car, which was a luxury, premium luxury item. Cycle and bike का छोड़ो car थी उनके पास. So that was his opulence and during that time. And see him 40 years later, 1960, he had nothing to eat. He had no one to look after. He actually fell down on the street, tired and this. And see, immediately after 5-6 years, Krishna tested him like this. He took away everything from Prabhupada, and then secondly, afterwards what happened when and with all this struggle, Krishna did not give him a single what do you call a single submissive disciple. People would listen to him. Oh, Swamiji, you are talking very nice. We should worship Krishna. We should chant Hare Krishna. Very nice concept. Yes, yes, Bhagavad Gita should be taught in this whole world. Yes, yes. Now bring me one cup of tea. They were not even able to give up the tea only. चाय नहीं छूट रही थी लोगों से. भक्त बनने के बाद अलग है. छोड़िए. So people were not able to give up their tea. They used to discuss with Prabhupada. Oh, very nice, Prabhupada Swamiji. We are doing very nice. But no one was becoming serious. He was getting failure after failure, failure after failure, failure after failure. Oh, so much struggle he took. And then when he went to US, it was like a Midas touch. Wherever he would touch, gold would come out. Wherever he would touch, gold would come. He would say one thing to a man, hey, from tomorrow you should chant. And that fellow would start chanting, literally. From tomorrow you should shave your head. And that fellow would, oh, Prabhupada said, I need to shave my head. So here he would try convincing people for hours together, nothing would happen in their heart. It's not that. And there, even one line would transform. You see, Prabhupada stories by Western disciples of Prabhupada, they had no such philosophical or debate or something. They were enamored by just one statement of Prabhupada. Many disciples, they said, Prabhupada just glanced me and I felt I should join. Huh? See, so there was a time when Krishna took away everything from Prabhupada, and there was a time when Krishna gave so much to Prabhupada, so much so that even in terms of material asset, he had the best of material assets, which even the billionaires or the trillionaires or the zillionaires of this material world can't imagine. Devotees would bring limousine for him, devotees would bring silver chhatri for him, devotees would feed him in the golden plate, and he would have chamar which was silver plated and what not. Literally, there are interviews wherein interviewers of TV channels are kind of, literally you can see their expression as they are jealous of this Swamiji. They used to ask, Swamiji, you are supposed to be renunciant. Why are you traveling in these big cars? Prabhupada used to say, I am representative of God. You are talking this rubber and metal car as gorgeous. Nonsense, they should give me golden car. That was how Prabhupada used to say. So my point I'm taking to Prabhupada was tested twice. Once when everything was taken away from him, he had nothing. And once when so much was given to him, everything was given to him. But in both ways, he remained equally surrendered to Krishna. So akinchana gocharam does not mean that you become so impoverished, you become very poor, don't endeavor at all. You just begging. If some devotees can come to that level and do that, that is nothing wrong in that. But the attitude of dependency on Krishna is what is being highlighted here. If we are puffed up, oh, I am born and brought up in such a big family, my lineage is very great. My grandfather he had 100 acres of jameen. He was a big jamindar. Now I am this, I'm that. If you are proud of your language, if you are proud of your lineage, if you are proud of our assets, if you are proud of our material well-being, then having them is not a problem, depending on them is the problem. Depending on them or taking shelter in those things is the problem. Many devotees have so many big opulences, but they don't take shelter in those items. They don't think that in material world, these my home, my assets, my property, my mutual funds, my term insurance, my medical insurance will help us. No, ultimate solace and ultimate shelter for devotee is Krishna. So having those things, having material stability, having it is not a problem. See, Pandavas strived for material stability. Krishna wanted them to become materially stable. See, when Dhaumya Rishi, when Pandavas were in exile, Arjun could not defeat one demon. So Pandavas actually had some issues. So Dhaumya Rishi said, because you are not stable in your material, because you guys are not stable in your material life. You have given up your Gurukul life and now you are not even in Grahastha life. So you are in between. So either switch to Grahastha or both, all of you become sannyasi. Don't intermingle in between. So that was the period when that Lakshagraha thing happened and they were not yet married. So everybody thought they were dead. and then they suddenly appeared in Draupadi Swayamvar. Then he suggested Dhome Rishi. People think that Dronacharya is a guru of Pandavas. No, he was just a technical skill giver person. Yes, he was a guru. He was a great person, but actual spiritual master of Pandavas was Dhome Rishi. He stayed with them throughout their lives, after their Gurukul till their Mahabharata and so much. So his contribution in Pandava's life is much more higher than Dronacharya, because Dronacharya became their teacher out of his own greed. He had his own selfish agenda to. Yes, he did teach them properly, but he only taught them skills, the material skills. But when it came to spiritual qualities and various other managerial, political, नीति न्याय तर्क, ये सब चीजें जो है पांडवों को, they were taught by धौम्य ऋषि. So Dhomir said that material, he told them you need material stability. So it's not wrong if devotees strive to become materially stable. Yes, but that stability will give me solace in this material world. No, we are not supposed to take shelter into that. So same way Prabhupada is explaining what. So even in our endeavor to have material stability, we might use material assets, but we need to know that I am just a carpenter who is using owner's wood, and I am supposed to ultimately give it back to Krishna only. It is all coming from Krishna. The elements of this material creation are all my property. Which is that verse wherein Krishna says this? The elements of this Bhumi Rapo Analovayo Kammanor Buddhi Revacha Ahankara iti Yamme. What is that? Bina Prakriti Rashtada. I forgot. Actually, I think I mixed 2-3 verses. I don't know. But material elements which are created by this Bhumi, Rapo, Analo, Vayu, Kamano, these 8 elements. How many material elements we have? 24. 5 working senses, 5 knowledge gathering senses, 5 Panchamahabhutas, and 5 sense vishay or subjects of the senses. So like this, there are 20. You know now all 24 elements. Hare Krishna.
Yes.
Um,
Yes, by Karmendriyas.
Very crucial, very much required for devotees to know this. 24 elements. So first is, see this. What is 5? This earth, fire, water, air, ether. This 5, 2 hands, 2 legs, and I think genitals it comes. So that is 5 working sense. The knowledge gathering senses is eyes, nose, ears, skin, like that. 5, and then 5 is sensory objects like smell. There is an interconnection in all that. Smell, touch, like that. Vision, uh, drishti, and then smell, okay, taste, okay, touch, okay, sound, like that. 5, these become 20, and then 3, mind, intelligence,
False ego.
and then third is ego.
False ego.
Yes, Prabhuji?
Ego, correct.
Ego बताइए
Yes.
प्रभुजी. False ego.
Mind, intelligence, false ego. And then there are 23, and then fourth is chitta. Actually, they say it's not soul. It's not a soul is not a material element. So like this 20 and this 4. So like that, there are 24 material elements. Okay. Okay. So where were we? So all these elements are, Krishna says, Mama Maya Duratte. Devi Yeshi Gunamayi, Mama Maya Duratte. These all elements are my Prakriti. I am my Bhina Prakriti. Bhina Prakriti are Apara Shakti, Apara Prakriti. You are not created the sea, the land, the sky, and the fire or the air. These are not your creations. You may mix and transform these material things. You may take earth from the land and water from the sea, mix them and put them in a fire to make bricks. And then you may pile up all these bricks to make a skyscraper and claim that the skyscraper is yours. But where did you get the ingredients for the skyscraper? You rascal. You have stolen the property. And now you are claiming that it is your property. This is knowledge. Very, very nice, Prabhupada says. So everything we earn in our life, however we are earning our livelihood, whether we are doing job or whether, see, in material world, it is always a duality thing. In material world, there is no profession which is sinless. There will always be duality. There will always be sin and piety involved in every action. Now I am speaking, some microbiome bacteria are getting killed, so I can't avoid hinsa in any action, whether I'm breathing or speaking or whatever. So that sin is always being committed. Where you do farming, you people might say, oh, farming is the most sinless occupation. No, even while doing farming, you need to kill pests, you need to kill so many, it requires sin. So there is papa involved in every material action what you do. But if you do in context of Krishna, if you do in yajnartha karmano yatra यज्ञार्था कर्मणो नेत्र loko yam karma bandh. What is that? So everything has to be done as yajna. So if your occupation, everything you do it for Krishna, my Krishna, this is my offering to you. So even in that yajna, some papa is there that. But apart from if yajna means what you do it. Yajna means whatever. Yajna does not only mean that you have a fire sacrifice and then you do ahuti. And even in that context, even in ahuti, what is the mantra? Every mantra you say, what is you say in the what do you say in the end? Idam
Swaha.
Krishna, idam Namaha. No, Swaha is the name of Agni's wife.
Okay.
Agni is wife. Swaha does not mean actually anything. Swaha does just only mean that Devi is the carrier of the ingredient. So therefore we say Swaha. Swaha does not mean that I offer. Actually, the word which signifies I offer is what? Idam Krishnaya, idam Namama. Idam Narayanaya, idam Namama. Idam Suryaya, whomsoever, whichever, even demigod worship also they do. So idam Krishnaya. So at the end, after every mantra, even after Swaha, this has to be said. Idam Krishnaya, idam Namama. Idam Krishna, idam. Everything belongs to Krishna. Nothing belongs to me. So that is the whole that ceremony should signifies only one thing, that the ghee, the sesame seeds, the havan samagri, the wood, the fire, everything belongs to Krishna, and not just as a part of or not just the ingredients of the yajna, but even our life belongs to Krishna, because ultimate the final mantra which is said in after every yajna or after every arti is, you know what? कायेन वाचा मनसेन्द्रिया वा बुद्ध्यात्मना वा प्रकृति स्वभाव करोमि यज्ञं सकलं परस्मै नारायणायेति समर्पयामि. You everybody knows the meaning of this verse, na? What is it? कायेन वाचा मनसा इंद्रिया वा बुद्ध्या आत्मना वा प्रकृति स्वभाव. All the 7 8 things which we all have. Kaya, my body; my vacha, my talk; kaya na vacha; mana, my mind; indriya, my all my indriyas, speech, everything. Kaya na vacha manasendra; buddhi, my intelligence; buddhi atmana, my mana; prakriti, my nature; I'm angry, I'm sad, I'm whatever will be my nature. Prakriti swabhav, my swabhav; how I deal with everyone, what is my swabhav. Prakriti swabhav. Karomi yajnat. I am not offering all the ingredients to you. Ghee is not important. The Havan Samagri is not important. The Navagraha wood is not important. Nothing is important. What is these 8 elements? Eight Havan Samagri Krishna wants. Karomi yajnat sakalam parasme. Karomi yajnat sakalam parasme. Narayana iti samarapyami. I actually collect all these ingredients which are with me only, and I am offering them into the fire of your bhakti as an offering to you. So that is actual yajna. Whether you have that ceremony or not is a second thing. But even without the ceremony, if we have that attitude every day while waking up, every day while sleeping, if we say this mantra, oh Krishna, today my day will be an offering to you as a sacrifice. I will use my words in a way that it will please you. I will use my mind in a way that it will serve you. I will use my intelligence in a way that I will, whatever material activity I am doing, that will be to please you. I will. So you understood all those things. So that is actually yajna. So why I got into the So yajnata karmano netra lokam karmana. So if we will not be get bound if you do everything in the context of yajna for doing it Krishna. And the second verse which Krishna says is uh, yajna yajna sishta shino santo papa kamaka. That is na, if whomsoever eats for his own sake, he is eating papa. What is that slok? I have so many slokas to read. यज्ञार्था कर्मणो नेत्र लोको यम कर्म बंधन तदर्थम कर्म कौन्तेय मुक्त संग समाचर. If you do that karma as a yajna, as an offering to me, you will remain free. And second, again, there is second verse which says, no, it is not there in my chart. What is that? Yajna shishta sino santo. कामकारतः मुच्यते कामकारतः. Someone please take.
यज्ञशिष्टाशिनः सन्धो मुच्यन्ते सर्वकिल्पिषैः
kilvishay, I
पुञ्जदेते
know.
कम्पाप ये पजन्त्यात्मकारणात्.
ये पचन्ति आत्मकारणात्. मुच्यन्ते त्वे अघम papam. So one verse Krishna says, if you do everything as a yajna, you will become mukta sangha samacharit. You will be free because you will not be entangled into the karma. Because whether you do farming, people might say, oh, farming is the most noble. No, it also involves sin. You become teacher, you become a corporate employee, you become a businessman. You will have to exploit nature somewhere or the other. See, and then second Krishna says, if you even though that thing involves sin, but if you do it for me, you will remain free. You will not be same way Krishna told to Arjuna. It's fighting is sinful, but if you fight for me, you will not be entangled into the activities of that sin, because you are doing it for me. You are not doing it for your own sense gratification. So if you are doing it for your own sense gratification, then even not fighting will give you sin. See how intricate Gita is. Very so Krishna said, because you are giving up your forgiveness towards your relatives, you are apparently so called what do you call kind heartedness or forgiveness, or the what do you call kshamakshilata, jo you are showing towards Kauravas, is not on the spiritual platform, but rather it is on the bodily platform. Therefore even your forgiveness and even your renunciation by running away from the battlefield will give you sin, because that is not your duty right now. So see how Krishna is actually explaining. Therefore it is said na dharma se tattvam nihitam guhayam. Dharma tattva is very secret, it is an open secret. It is open, but still it is secret, because apparently what seems to be a very dharmic need not be dharmic, and what seems to be very sinful need not be sinful, because the context and the purpose and the backdrop intention needs to be understood in every situation. So therefore normal people can't understand Bhagavad Gita just by one time reading. It is very complex thing. So why so then Krishna says, but someone who is eating without offering as an yagga, then he is eating only sin. Tvetam agam papam, the atma karanat, what is called. It is very dangerous. So therefore, everything we need to do is in the context of yagya. And yagya means sacrifice. Sacrifice means giving up. And giving up, what Prabhupada showed in that the initial pastime which I told, that he said, give me pile of cash, I will take a photograph of holding it as if I am embracing it. That sannyasi which is showing, no, I don't want cash. No, he is actually Falgu Vairagya. We are not proposing Falgu Vairagya. We want Yukta Vairagya. Bring more money. We will use it for Krishna service. So we are not against material opulence, but we are against taking shelter of material opulences. Have material opulences, but use it in Krishna service. So unfortunately, so then apparently, seemingly, a sannyasi who is rejecting money, material world might respect. Oh, what a sannyasi he is rejecting such a pile of cash. And materially thoughtful, materially oriented people might think, oh, what kind of sannyasi is he? Is holding such a big pile of cash. He's being very opulent. He's traveling in Lamborghini. He's traveling in silver. He's eating in silver plates. There are many interviews. Actually, reporters are asking, Swamiji, why are you given so much palatable dishes and so many things? Prabhupada said, what is your problem? These are my disciples. They are thinking me as a representative of God. As a representative of God, what they are giving is actually nothing. As compared to if actual God comes, we should give how much we should treat. Yeah, that was his context actually. So, um, so therefore, I am actually getting to that point that dependency on Krishna, dependence on Krishna and not our material assets is the key point. Unfortunately, those who are intoxicated cannot understand this. They think we have taken this land of America from the Red Indians and now it is our property. They do not know that they are thieves. The Bhagavad Gita clearly says that one who takes the property of God and claims it as his own is a thief. Stena eva saha. The devotees of Krishna, therefore, have their own form of communism. According to Krishna conscious communism, you see, in very different examples, Prabhupada gives Krishna conscious communism, Krishna conscious capitalism. See, very nice example of dharmic capitalism is, you see, I heard that, I don't know how many of you know, Sridhar Bembu, he's a nice person, very dharmic fellow. Sridhar, the owner of Zoho, he was once asked, how do you define capitalism and entrepreneurship? He gave very nice example, which actually liked it in this context. Actually, he was giving example of what was dharmic capitalism in Indian Sanatan Vedic system. So he said in his village there is a huge temple which was built by Raja Chola, the Brihadeshwar Mandir. You know, so we are very close by is from his village. He said we used to visit that place, and that temple is still standing tall, such a glorious and such a magnificent temple which has withstood all the natural calamities for almost like 12,000 2,000 years, I think so. It is very old, 1,000 or 2,000 year old temple. And then he said, just next to the temple there are just platforms, or so to say, there are just small platforms wherein they used to say that King's Palace used to be here, and hardly there is anything now remaining in that area. Only the platforms, the stone platforms are there, everything else is gone away. So he said, in childhood when I used to visit the temple, I used to see his own palace, the same king built, the temple also the same king built, same. I actually realized this when I went to Raigad. Raigad is the place where Shivaji Maharaj actually stayed, used to stay. That was his kingdom. So in there is a very huge Shiva temple, Lord Shiva temple, that is Raireshwar. So that temple is completely made of stone, very gorgeous, very grand, very nice temple. And just 100 meters away from in the same fort, same land, there used to be Shivaji Maharaj's own palace. But even in that palace area, what you see is only stone platforms. So then when I again heard that Sridhar Bembu's point, I got such a click that our Sanatan Vedic kings had this attitude of dharmic capitalism. What they used to do is, he said, it's not that they had scarcity of resources, but it was their attitude of priority which they gave to the temples rather than their own palaces. What historians told that, oh, our king used to live in grow. Yes, they had sufficient comfortable palaces, nothing wrong with that, but the amount of resources and amount of quality construction material which they used for the temples so that they could sustain even for 100 and 1,200 years, they did not use same amount of energy and investment for their own personal living. And no one is saying that they lived in poverty. The point is that is dharmic capital. You spend more for the more for spirituality and less for your own self. So ratio might be different for different people. Like how Rupa Goswami, he distributed his wealth 50% for spiritual cause. Then after 50%, he kept 20%, 25% for some urgency, 25% he distributed in relatives. So that when I heard how Rupa Goswami distributed, then I could understand not just the Goswamis, even the Dharmic kings used to actually do that. Because you see, they did not spend much on their own personal palaces and all that. Their palaces are actually destroyed. If they wanted that, even you go Hampi, temples are there. But Krishna Devaraj's palace you will not see. Only the ruins, the queens bathing area will be there, and no palace. They had very small means. The point I'm trying to convey here is their devotee, the Krishna conscious capitalism was existing in the consciousness of the society itself. Everyone had that consciousness that if I'm earning 100, I will give 50 to Krishna, or whomsoever deity they are worshipping. To that aspect of giving away was very much there in our Indian subconscious. That is very nice actually. So even as devotees, we should have that attitude that yes, I'm earning based on Krishna's property, so I should spend as much as possible to Krishna's preaching or Guru's service. So according to Krishna conscious communism, everything belongs to God. Just as the Russian and Chinese communists think that everything belongs to the state, we think that everything belongs to God. In their Russian and Chinese communism, what happens is they think everything belongs to state, but and because state is run by a few people, so then all the property start belonging to them. So it is actually capitalism only in the garb of communism actually. So this is merely an extension of the same philosophy, and to understand it, one simply needs a little intelligence. See, Prabhupada was very clear. He knew the global politics which was going on during that time. See, See, Russia later collapsed in 1991, collapsed into that communism failed. And Chinese communism is actually worst form of capitalism only. They are dictatorship state only. So there is no point calling them communist country actually. So the point is, even Prabhupada was well aware. He used to you write these examples in his purport, in his talks, communism, capitalism, whatnot. Uh, why should one think that his state belongs to only a small number of people? See this. In fact, this is all the property of God, and every living entity has a right to use this property, because every living entity being is a child of God, who is the supreme father. Aham bija pradapita. Sarva yonoisha kuntiyu. Aham bija pradapita. Lord Krishna says, I am the seed giving father of all living entities. In whatever forms they may live, all living entities are my sons and daughters. So they say, Prabhupada's quote, or I don't know whose quote, they say there is enough for everyone's need, but not for one man's greed. So it's not that when it's like sun, state should be like sun. Prabhupada used to explain. What does the sun do? In the summer, they extract water from the ocean and the river and from everywhere. So that is like collecting taxes. So in the summer, sun collects the water. The water gets evaporated due to the heat, and it gets collected as the tax source. GST से ले लो आप, TDS से ले लो, income tax, ITR से ले लो. Tax collect किया, and then in the rainy season, that collected tax gets distributed among in the forest, in the jungles, in the rivers, everywhere. This that is the spiritual governance. You collect taxes and use it for a welfare of everyone, but then that is not happening. That is where the problem is, whether it is capitalism or communism. But this thing has to be there, and while collecting, the attitude of the tax collector should be, this is not mine, this I need to give it back to the society, because it ultimately belongs to supreme personality Godhead only. We all living entities are all sons of God, but we have forgotten this, and therefore we are fighting. In a happy family, all the sons know Father is supplying food to us all. We are brothers, so why should we fight? Similarly, if we become God conscious, Krishna conscious, the fighting in the world will come to an end. See, actually, the peace formula, someone can quote, which is peace formula. Prabhupada used to say, world peace formula. Anyone knows in Bhagavad Gita which verse Prabhupada used to say? Huh?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Tell me.
Starting I भूल गई.
Jatva mam shanti
Last verse of like some 4th chapter or 6th chapter, 7th chapter.
No, 5th chapter, Mati. 5th chapter, last verse. Sarvaloka Maheshwaram, Suradam Sarva Bhutanam Jatmanam Shanti Gachati.
Which are the four things which Krishna says there? First thing is Bhoktaram Yajna Tapasa. First thing Krishna says, Bhoktaram Yajna Tapasa. I am the
well wish.
Bhokta means enjoyer.
Enjoy.
Krishna is the only enjoyer. Moment you think I can also enjoy, you can never become happy or peaceful in our life. If we think that material world I can enjoy, we are in big trap. First thing we need to see, Bhoktaram Yagya Tapasam. All endeavors, all yagyas, all the tapas, all the material endeavors the whole world is doing, they are building skyscraper. That is also tapa. Don't think Yajna Tapasa, Krishna is saying that is only for the spiritual yajna and tapas is the bhakta. No. Yajna and tapa signifies every activity in this world. Everyone is actually doing yajna. They are actually burning their skin, they are burning their blood, they are actually putting everything in doing anything, whatever they are doing. They are either job, either you see multi big cities, people travel 3 hours to earn their living. 3 ghanta jana, 3 ghanta, 6 hours of their life is going only in traffic. Is it not yajna? Is it not tapa? It is. That is also big tapa. So bhoktaram yajna tapasam. All the endeavors of this world, Krishna is the only enjoyer. If you think I am doing this to enjoy myself, I am to relax and I will enjoy later on. No, if we even have subtlest of that attitude, we will never become peaceful in our life. Because the beginning of peace begins only when we think that Krishna is the only enjoyer. Even the slightest enjoying mentality is there. Oh, this is my child, this is my grandsons, I will enjoy them. Oh, this is my wife, I will enjoy her. No, that enjoying everything has to be done in as yajna and tapa as a responsibility. She's my wife, I will have some pleasure through her or through my kids or whatever. I have my responsibilities, I will have my pains and pleasure in that relationship or in that job or whatever I'm doing. but the ultimate enjoyer of everything of my life or the whole world is Krishna. Bhoktaram yatne tapsa sarvaloka maheshwaram, and he is the proprietor of the whole world. But even before understanding whether he is proprietor or not, the first understanding is Bhoktaram. That understanding of Bhoktaram, see, many people accept that Supreme Personality of Godhead is the proprietor, but because that does not affect their ego. Because accepting someone as a okay, ठीक है ना, Krishna is the supreme proprietor, but at least I have this much of property on my name, I can enjoy this much. No, he does not only say that I am the proprietor. I am proprietor as well as enjoyer also. I am only. So that is second. The first thing is very tough because ego can't digest. See, I'm okay considering you as a proprietor of whole material and spiritual creation, but at least give me some this tract of land to enjoy more. No, Krishna says I am not just the proprietor. I am enjoyer also. So moment we have that proprietorship mentality, enjoyership mentality, we will never be happy or what to say peaceful. Happiness is a secondary thing. First is peace, then comes bliss. So peacefulness will only not exist in this material world if that two things are not Bhoktaram Yajna Tapasa Sarvaloka Maheshwaram Surudam Sarvabhuta. And then thirdly Krishna says, don't think because I am enjoyer and I am the proprietor, I am the ruthless guy, I am the dictator, I will like how in Abrahamic religions they have concept of God as a ruthless fellow who has no mercy. Uh, so no. So thirdly, Krishna says, yes, I am enjoyer, yes, I am proprietor, but I am Surdam Sarva Bhutana. I am friend of everyone. I don't enjoy it myself. I give it to those who dedicate to me, those who surrender to me. In fact, I become their own servant. You understand these three things? If you learn only one thing, I is the proprietor, and not the third thing. No, all the three things are important. He is enjoyer, he is proprietor, and he is also the biggest well-wishing friend of every living entity. Insects, the mosquitoes, everyone, trees, plants, birds, not just us or human beings. He is well-wishing friend of everyone. He wants everyone to rise in spiritual life. Okay. Whatever in our life which is happening is because Krishna wants us to become to closer to us. So in that process, he might have to give us some suffering also for us to realize that this material world is full of misery. So he might give some suffering also, but still we need to understand he is the Sridham Sarva Bhutanam. He is the most well-wishing friend and the most ever well-wishing friend of every living entity is Krishna. Because only first two things someone understands, he will become jealous of Krishna. Oh, he is such an arrogant, ruthless dictator fellow. He is just giving commandment. No, he does not give commandment. He just says, I am Surudam Sarvabhutanam. I wait for you. I wait for you. When will you turn towards me? Yatachese tataguru. I am allowing you to do whatever you want to do for lifetimes. You are doing it. Lifetimes we are rejecting Krishna's proposal. Lifetimes after lifetimes we are rejecting Krishna's proposal. And therefore we are not peaceful. Krishna says, Saradam Sarvabhutana. Turn to me. I am your well-wishing friend. So then the whole world become peaceful. Where was I? Krishna was the fighting in this whole world will come to an end. I'm American, I'm Indian, I'm Russian, I'm Chinese. All these nonsensical designation will be finished. Yes, as Krishna conscious devotees, we should not have this jati bhed or anything. Oh, he's of that community, he's of that nationality, nothing. Yes, but as a responsibility, like for example, Russia-Ukraine war is going on. There are devotees in Russia, there are devotees in Ukraine. So what do you think? As a nationality, there are two responsibilities. There are two dharma. एक होता है एक होता है कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल धर्म और संवैधानिक धर्म which does not change, and there is one situational duty, one constitutional duty, one is situational duty. So constitutionally we are all servants of Krishna, I have no, but as if some devotee is serving in Russian army, and for that matter he has to fight, and in front there will be some Ukrainian devotee, he is also in the Ukraine army, so they might even have to fight. Understood? So that situational dharma need to be properly discussed with your current authority, current counselor. Should I go into this job or not job? Should I, in this context, should I fight or not fight? Or should I do it or not do it? But on the platform of soul, Saridam Sarva Bhutanam. What is that quality of a devotee? Sukhe dukhe samay krutva lava lava. No, not that. Which is that? I actually for 18 chapter में है वो. नहीं sorry, is it that तितिक्षवा कारुणिका समस्तर अजात शत्रु तितिक्षका कारुणिका अजात शत्रु and equal vision to all qualities of a devotee. What makes a sadhu? Titikshva, he is very tolerant, he is very karunika. And sadhu bhushana, that is a verse in Bhagavatam, very famous. Ajata Shatru, devotee means Ajata Shatru, he does not have any enemies. So Yudhishthira Maharaj was known as Ajata Shatru. He was not at war with anyone, but yet even in the life of such a person who was Ajata Shatru, would never take rivalry of anyone. He tried all his means to avoid fighting, but still there will be some miscreants, those who will do. So therefore, we need to understand as devotees, there should never be any differentiation. Oh, he's American, he's Indian, he's Russian, Chinese. No, nothing. These nonsensical designations will be finished. The Krishna consciousness movement is so purifying that as soon as people become Krishna conscious, their political and national fighting will immediately be over. Yes, indeed, it will be over. In Prabhupada's, this Prabhupada's centenary year. No. Prabhupada's 125th anniversary. Modi ji had inaugurated, that 125th, 125 rupees silver coin. You all know, na? That 125 silver coin he inaugurated.
Yes,
So
yes.
during that event in Calcutta, almost 125 countries, devotees had visited India from all 125 countries. So in that hall, in that garden, what is that? Eden Garden cricket stadium. That event was there, I guess. I don't know the venue. I had not gone there, but I had seen the picture. So that event was registered in Guinness Book of World Record because that was the only platform wherein 125 people from different 125 nationals had come to that event and all their flags were there along with the flag of India. So ISKCON wrote a letter to Modi ji. They said actually this previously that record was there with Modi. He had arranged the event wherein 105 country national authorities had come with their flags. So he had a record wherein at a single place 105 flags were hosted. So ISKCON said we are now hosting 125 flags. Modi ji, your record is going to break. He actually immediately responded, yes, I am very happy with that. That ISKCON is doing such a grand thing because of Prabhupada's this. All these many devotees from these many nationalities are coming together at such single place. And so that was the vision of Bhaktivinoda Thakur when he wrote that book, Life and Precepts of Lord Chaitanya. So that was the vision he actually saw from his terrace. Have you gone to that his home? Swanada Sukanda Kunja. You must visit. It's a place where the prophecy was made. The Godrum Dweep. Just the 5 minutes boat ride from Godrum Dweep, you can go to Antar Dweep in Mayapur, and there you will see what do you call? I forgot. His home is there, Bhaktivinoda Thakur's home. The terrace where he was sitting, and he could actually see Russians, Chinese, Americans. Everyone is coming to Mayapur and dancing, and there is a huge temple here, Yog Peeth. So that dream Prabhupada and his disciples have made it true. Where was I? Purifying that as soon as people become Krishna conscious, their political and national fight will immediately be over because they will come to their real consciousness and understand that everything belongs to God. The children in a family all have the right to accept privileges from the father. Similarly, if everyone is parcel of God, if everyone is child of God, then everyone has the right to use the property of God. That right does not belong to only to the human beings. Rather, according to Bhagavad Gita, that right belongs to all living entities, whether they are in the bodies of human beings, animals, trees, birds, beasts, insects, or whatever. That is Krishna consciousness. So therefore, we should always be very careful about, just because we are vegetarian does not mean that we can beat pet animals. We can many times. So we should be careful of their rights also. Because they are also children of Krishna only. Thank you all very much for patient listening. Extremely sorry for the delay. And if anyone has any question, we can discuss. Now
Hare
we are
Krishna
already.
Prabhuji. Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Just now
Hare-
you referred to one book, say Life and something about Lord Chaitanya. What is that?
Life and Precepts of Lord Chaitanya. That is the book written by Bhaktivinoda Thakur in 1896. He wrote that book in 1896, the birth year of Prabhupada. So the year when Prabhupada took birth, that was the time he wrote that book. And in that book, he has written, there will come a devotee who will actually make an international destination. He will bring all the world people from all over the world to Mayapur, and that Yogpit temple will be very big and all that. So that is the book, and that the year when he did that prophecy, same year Prabhupada took birth.
Second one I didn't hear,
And
Prabhuji. Life and what exactly?
life and precepts. Precepts
Precepts.
is a
Okay.
precepts. Life and precepts of Lord Chaitanya. That
Yeah,
you
okay.
can get it. BBT is not printing it because it's much before Prabhupada's time. It was almost.
Yeah. Yes,
But he,
Prabhuji.
what he did, actually during his times, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was, image of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Vaishnava, Gaudiya Vaishnavas were very much spoiled. Britishers and all the Indians used to think they are all spoiled brats, they are all womanizers. They just, they don't have any philosophy, they just hang around and do just kirtan. But Bhaktivinoda Thakur, because he was a qualified judge, he wrote that book in English in such a way that he sent that book to all international libraries, to London, to Michigan, and so many places he sent that book. And because of his book, many Westerners started appreciating the cult of Lord Chaitanya.
Mm.
He received that appreciation. Oh, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu does not only is all about just whimsically dancing and emotional people, no philosophy, nothing. They are just useless fellows. ऐसा जो image था, they're characterless people, they are womanizers, all that. That he could bring out that divinity of Lord Chaitanya's mission, and that was the purpose he wrote that book. Life and because people had misunderstood Chaitanya Mahaprabhu a lot. Both Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, after Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's disappearance, in next 200-300 years, it was a complete mess. Very messy situation was created. Very difficult. After all the six Goswamis and all the this, all the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's associates, when they left, it was very tough period actually, in between 200-300 years. And then somehow Bhaktivinoda Thakur actually revived all these things. And then Bhakti Siddhanta Thakur Maharaj had to struggle a lot to bring to that level that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's philosophy is this like that. Okay, Hare Krishna.
Okay,
Anyone else
thank you.
has any
Thank
more
you,
question?
Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
So
Thank you, Dandot.
Hare Krishna. We can end the session, Mataji.
Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, baby.
Hare Krishna, baby.
The young preacher. The young preacher.
Hare Krishna. Hare Hare.
Born in your house, Prabhuji. Lucky child. Hare Krishna.
Dandavat.
Dandavat Pranam.